this discussion's been going on for like 2 years. And one of the things I do find interesting is that whichever one of these shows, a lot of times you guys come on here and these shows have been going on for like 2 years, and then it feels like, no offense, but if I was going to go on a show that had like 1 million subs, I would be like very prepared with an answer, and a lot of times it's the same answers you guys give over and over again, and like Justin and I can't do that. If we go on a show, we have to be like super prepared.
Yeah.
And sometimes when we ask you guys questions, it's like I have no idea what I'm talking about, and you just stumble. And I'm just saying,
you're saying it politely. I'll just say it. Women have the privilege of being fucking retarded. That's really what it comes down to. I'm going to be very honest. A lot of you guys gave nonsensical answers and very low IQ answers, but it's okay because you're a female, and I get it. There's a double standard out there, but I just think it's hilarious how women can make it through life with zero competence and still get by, versus a guy, if you're not competent, you're going to suffer.
Can I add something though? Because y'all say y'all have preparation with y'all interviews, right?
Sure.
What does that preparation entails? Because y'all took our phones, y'all got your phones right here, and then y'all
probably not using my phone.
But that's fine, that's fine. But I'm just saying that's like, you know. But y'all might know the questions before the interview. These questions are being asked live or by you, who we've never even seen before. We didn't even know who the surprise guest was going to be. You just came and surprised us with your guest list and your questions.
Surprise.
So we don't have no preparation really to go off of. So how can we prepare?
I mean, it's basic social dynamics questions of what you think as far as like sexual partners between the two genders. I mean, they're very general knowledge questions.
I have a question then.
I don't think you need to be prepared for that specifically.
But
I have a quick question.
He just basically came at like basically always all these viewers, y'all should be more prepared. But it's like, bro, how can we know what y'all
YouTube with multiple videos? You can watch the video. It's a similar format.
So related to the competence of a woman, then what do the fact that, you know, in your opinion, we can get through life without having to have any competence and we can just, you know, float through. Do men care about our competence then?
That's why they don't, which is why y'all are able to do what you do.
But then why don't you care about our competence?
Because it doesn't really provide that much utility.
Conversation, elevation of your children, elevation of status by having someone, a partner to, you know, throw ideas off to hold you accountable.
I think talking to men is way more interesting than talking to women typically.
So
can I add?
Well, okay.
You said that you don't care about the
because men have very similar. Men typically bond over activities, right? So and men have, it's easier to have common ground and similar interests with a guy because a man's life experience is far different than a woman's life experience. I mean, with all due respect, women typically live life on easy mode, especially in 2023. So someone who lives life on easy mode isn't going to be able to identify with your masculine struggles as a man typically.
Yeah.
Can some do it? Sure, but a majority can't.
So why not just be in a relationship with somebody you identify with, like a man?
What's the point with being a woman? Being with a woman.
For the polarity, because we're not the same.
Yeah, but the polarity of being not the sameness would mean that they're bringing a perspective to your life that is different from how you see things. Therefore, they have different experiences.
Female perspective is really unneeded outside of a home, to be honest with you.
But then what else?
But the thing is, you grow as a person within the home to go out into the workforce to be the person you are. The home is where you spend the majority of your time, if not at work. So it's equally as important to grow in the home with the person next to you as it is to grow in the workforce. So why would you not think that there is value in the person next to you? You would want them to be competent. I think that's the most important thing, to have a competent.
I think what they're saying is most guys don't care these days if women is competent.
You're missing the whole point of this. What he was just trying to show is that if given an opportunity to be put on a certain platform, men will take it more serious than the women will, and they'll actually have some level of preparation versus women will just show up and kind of behave however, and it's okay. That's what he's trying to say. And then I'm saying is the reason for that is because women are able to kind of waddle through life without being competent and still make it somewhere, versus a man can't necessarily do that. A woman can choose. Basically, a woman being competent is elective. It's not mandatory.
How about this? So for the things that make men attractive, right? Are the same things that make men high status.
Yeah.
So just think about these two things. So like, for instance, I play quarterback for a football team. I make $50 million a year, and I'm also attractive to women for the same thing. Make sense? The things that may make a woman high status, like let's say there's a woman who is a heart surgeon and she saves one of my children. To me, that's a high status woman.
Yeah.
But I'm not attracted to her.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Sure.
So the things that make her high status and the things that make her attractive are not the same thing. Does that make sense?
But why is there no, from the male perspective, why is there no attraction based on competence, based on the wisdom in the home that could build you up as a man?
There could be, but for men, I mean, if you just felt what it's like to be a man, we have 17 times as much testosterone as a woman. We're just more concerned with certain features of facial symmetry, signs of youth, hip to waist ratio, and submissiveness to a certain extent, agreeableness. Those things, I'm not saying a woman who's smart wouldn't be attractive. I've dated some smart women. It's very attractive. The problem is, in comparison to how physically attractive I am to her, it's just not, it's 3 orders of magnitude more.
I'm calling bullshit.
Would you rather?
Go ahead.
That's not true, because at the end of the day, if you are a high status man, if you see like yourself as like very valuable and high value, you will not be with a woman
It's true.
who has no income, because that's the chances that she's
I'm
with
sorry,
you for your
we're in Miami.
income.
We're in Miami.
The chances that she's with you for your income is so high. You're gonna want someone who doesn't need you. You're gonna want somebody who is at a financial point to where you're certain in your head that this woman is with you because she loves you as a human being, and not because she's with you because of your financial status or whatever. So you're gonna be more attracted to the woman who has a higher income than the woman who, like, let's say everything else is the same.
More attracted to the woman who has a higher
If
income.
she's good looking and she has a higher income, she's more attractive
You're
than
giving
the
the
woman
you're,
who is
you're 100%
not unattractive
describing
and
the
has low
female.
income.
That's why they named the club.
I'm
What
giving,
you
like,
literally
the
just
best reason
described, what
ever.
you literally just described is how women are attracted to men. Women are attracted to men that don't need them, that have financial competence, etc.
Same with men to women,
No.
because
No, it's
a
just not
high value
true.
man
No.
is so insecure that every woman
Here we
wants
go.
him only for his money, and that's the only reason she's with
He
him.
can be, hold on,
So
he
when
can
she
be high
has
value
that,
for other
he can
reasons
be-
than his money.
He can,
Yeah.
I know, but
Yeah.
when she has that, he's
Listen.
like, all right, she's not with me just because I'm rich.
Okay, so listen up. I know I've been bringing up a lot of stats, but like Dr. David Bussey does this 37 culture study, and they study real quick a summary of it is that women are always in every one of these societies, all 37 cultures, more interested in men acquiring resources than the other way around. It's 2 to 1. Does that make sense?
They're
Women are more.
interested, but they're
Women are
still
more.
interested.
Huh?
They're more interested, but they're still kind of interested.
Yeah, no, but they're not nearly to the same extent. And the other thing is, like, men are more interested in a woman's body count than women are interested in a man's body count. And this was in all 37 cultures. And
Women
in all
should be interested in men's body count
but
too.
not nearly to the same extent. So, like, what you're saying, I understand idealistically may seem right to you, but there's no data to back up anything you're saying. Like,
But it's
men are
literally logic. You don't need data when it makes sense.
You kind of do need data. That's what data is for.
But can you
data is the real world.
like in
Logic
your own
is your
head?
logic.
Can you think think for yourself? Why do you need something to back everything up? It's called thinking for yourself, thinking clearly. You don't need that.
You can't think clearly without data.
Yes, you can. You can add things up in your
Make it
head.
up. Just make it up,
And
Mike.
yeah,
then it
that's
just, like,
literally
feels real?
logical thinking.
Then it just
Critical
feels real?
thinking.
It feels.
Why is Myron writing stuff down?
Yeah, he's over here taking notes like a
He's like
college
I feel
student.
like you're if you
Yeah, because the difference is that I'm actually listening to what you guys are saying, understanding, and formulating something to actually respond to what you're saying versus you guys just like yapping. Put
it in your book.
I have so a lot of what you say is about wanting to keep like a family unit together, right? You believe in the family unit, you bring in the strong male,
So
right?
I do, but in some cases, like previous societies, I'm more interested in like an evolutionary psychology description of humanity than just a cultural one. In some societies, it was one man, one woman. In some societies, we'd have a high status men with multiple women. That's generally what would happen. And so that's what I'm describing for the most part. And so when she says that most of these men were interested in women that made as much money
I
as them,
understand this
there's
part.
no way I can look through the anthropological record and see any evidence of that. Like, in fact, if we go back, like maybe even 2,000-3,000 years, there's like zero evidence of that. There's never a case where men are looking for women that make more money than them. It just doesn't happen.
No, I never said making more money, but
Actually,
I'm saying in comparison,
you did precisely say that.
if you
verbatim.
put a woman who has so
I think she was comparing to other
let's say
women.
as a human
to other
being,
women.
what adds value to a human being? It's your experience, your memories with that person, and also how much income that person has and how free they are in their life.
I think the original thing you're conflating. There's personal self-worth and value, and then there's how much people find you attractive. For men, they are the same thing. For women, they're not the same thing. They're not. But they're not. Like Madame Curie discovered radium, but her husband's penis did not get harder because she won a Nobel Prize.
But
You understand? Or do you think that?
He valued her more because of the fact that she had more knowledge.
Died
Yes,
horribly
he
of cancer,
did.
but that's not
so
actually.
ladies, if you're out there,
That's what.
keep your money up. Work hard
Madam
for
Curie,
yourself,
we
girl.
care for you.
Don't let these men think it doesn't matter because
All
it
right,
does.
so
Are we talking about all men when we say this?
it's very simple.
In general.
In general,
Because men are
the
trying to
bottom
play in
line,
women's sports now, so times are changing.
Sorry, you said what? Men are trying to play
playing women's sports these days, so times are changing.
Yeah, because women live life on easy mode, which brings me back to my point.
Yeah,
like the bottom line is this: women live life on easy mode, and their accomplishments are not as important as a man's accomplishments because a woman doesn't have to be accomplished to be attractive. So that's why I say getting advice from a woman could be valid, but their perspective isn't as valid because it's extremely limited because they don't go through the same trials and tribulations that men do.
Different.
So in general, most women are not in a position to dispense advice to you as a man about life. For example, if I have 20,000 women, I could put them in the military and have them go fight. But what's better, 20,000 women in infantry or 20,000 men in infantry? The men are going to be better.
Well,
you would have 0 if it wasn't for women. You would have no men or women.
It was a minority.
That's not the argument.
Saying.
What I'm saying is that just because something is capable does not mean that it's optimal. So if I want the best advice as a man, I'm going to go deal with another man and talk to him about that because more than likely our experiences are going to align. Women a lot of the times don't have the same experiences. She's got to be an exceptional female a lot of the times to be in a position to give me advice as a man because women don't live the same existence as men and women live life on easy mode.
So you're basically saying there's a gray area.
I
just don't think that's true.
Because they can't compete in men's sports, so they're going to the women's sports.
Yes, but why? Hold on.
That's the point.
That proves my point even more.
Yeah.
Why are guys switching their gender over to compete in female sports? Because they know that women are physically inferior, they're slower, they're weaker, they're not as good at athletic capability and coordination, etc. And the men go over there and they absolutely destroy them, even though they're on testosterone suppressants, they're getting their hormones blocked, and they're still fucking women up. So if that doesn't prove that women live life on easy mode, even when it comes to the concept of sports and athletics and competition, I don't know what does. If you take chess players, you take Formula 1 drivers, there's no strength difference.
So you're telling me,
I get your point.
I got a question. I got a real serious question. So you're telling me if a woman who is trying her hardest, who has been training her whole life on this athletic sport, is losing to a grown man, I don't care about that music. If you're telling me that a woman that worked her whole life off to do whatever sport and a grown man comes in and does that sport against her and wins, it's because she was on easy mode, or
Yeah,
like
that
that's
makes no
crazy.
sense.
Yes.
Okay.
Hold on.
You're absolutely tripping. You're absolutely tripping because I know bitches that can hoop you and dunk on you all day. But if I'm go ahead. I'll let you say what you gotta say.
Look, if you win the retard Olympics, it doesn't matter because you're still a fucking retard. Okay? If you win the WNBA,
but we're not talking about retard Olympics. We're talking about real sports.
That's what I'm trying to say. If you win a WNBA championship, it's irrelevant because you won a WNBA championship. You didn't win an NBA championship at the highest level.
But you got men coming in winning WNBA championships.
So
now what are you saying?
Hold on. That is my point.
Are you upset? No, don't get upset.
No, I'm not upset.
Be logical.
I'm just literally astonished by your level of stupidity. What I'm saying is that women have their own leagues and they must play in easy mode because they're inferior to men in almost every physical.
That doesn't mean
Let me help you with this. So he's saying easy mode, and I think you have a problem with easy mode. Correct. Candace Parker probably whooped my ass at basketball. But an average NBA player who transitioned to become a woman would be the MVP of the WNBA.
Yeah.
That's my point.
But how does that mean that the woman is on easy mode because somebody you got Shaquille O'Neal want to put a wig on and play NBA, play WNBA. Now women is on easy mode because you got
compared to men. It's significally easier.
I'm gonna leave this. I'm gonna wait for the stats to come out.
You don't like the description of easy mode, but like generally, in general, and again, I'm not saying this to denigrate women, but the fastest woman in the world is slower than than a high school sprinter in Texas.
Yes, but she probably
does that mean that she's on easy mode? Or we're gonna go to science and talk about the way her body is.
You're stuck on the term easy mode. Get off the term easy mode.
Help me.
Easier. Would that work? Does easier work?
No.
But what does that have to do with sports?
She has to put in the same amount of work.
It's the same training.
A woman athlete's not putting in less work.
What are you saying?
Actually, she does not put the same amount of work in because men can train at a way higher capacity for far longer.
You're talking about capacity versus easy mode.
So, no, but that's what I'm trying to say. She's trying to say they put in the same amount of work. No, they don't.
So, because your Xbox got more space than my Xbox, I'm on easy mode.
What if we go to the next question?
My capacity isn't as big as yours.
No.
Your life is not as big as yours.
An average man can come into your sport and win. An average man.
Are you aware that Serena Williams lost to like the 200 ranked guy when he was hungover?
But that's a guy
and that's
versus a girl.
A woman at the pinnacle.
But are you saying? But was that on easy mode or was a guy coming into a girl's sport and should have been playing with a guy? What would happen if he played a guy though?
For Serena Williams to compete against other women in general, the women's sport is easier than it is for men in a vacuum. Do you disagree?
I don't disagree, but I'm just trying to understand why if I'm a man And I know my capacity. Why won't I just play tennis with a man? Why am I playing with Serena Williams?
You're trying to. We're using hypotheticals, and you're not paying attention to what we're saying. What we're saying is it's easy. I know
it's funny y'all get to use hypotheticals when y'all want to, but then when y'all asking us a question, no, we're using stats. CDC Atlanta.
It was misinterpreted and that they had said easy mode at one point, but I don't think they actually mean that women are competing in.
I think I'm just stuck on the easy mode thing. You're probably right. I'm gonna let it go.
Look. Female sports in general is easy mode because it's the easiest level of human accomplishment.
Serena could beat you, bro.
Am I a tennis player? I'm not a tennis player.
But that's easy mode.
I'm not a tennis player.
You're an average guy. You said an average guy would hang up, but bro,
I didn't say an average guy. I said a guy ranked 200. See, here, hold on. Look.
Go ahead.
We're gonna have this discussion. Okay, you want to actually have a conversation here? You need to pay attention to what we're saying. Okay, because I was very explicit and I said the 200 ranked guy hungover beat Serena Williams. Don't just take part of what I'm saying and throw out the others because everything matters in context.
What you be doing?
Because you're just arguing to argue now at this point.
I'm just trying to use the logic and try to pinpoint the points.
Because I have respect for what you're saying because I'm actually writing down the stupidity that you're saying so I can actually rebut it. So if you're gonna go ahead and make a comment,
let me get a notepad.
Pay attention.
Let me get a notepad.
Hold on, stop. See, you're just talking to talk.
No, I'm not. I'm asking for a notepad. So
okay, we'll give it to you. We probably won't write anything anyway. But the point I'm trying to make is this. If you're going to go ahead and argue something against me, listen to what the fuck I say and then actually rebut what I said. Don't go ahead and make a general statement off something that I didn't say. What I'm simply saying is that women's sports in itself is easy mode.
I just still don't understand how. So I'm going to stay dumb. I'm going to just be dumb because I don't understand how. We just go ahead and
do not understand that even if a man goes in, transgender, right? Mm-hmm. Goes in there, takes hormone suppressants, etc., limits himself, he still is better than 99% of the women in that sport. If that doesn't prove that females have it on easy mode, I don't know what does.
Transformers are faster than cars on the street.
There we go. And apparently she just won the argument with a transformer.
Okay, wait, my question is
incredible. Checkmate.
And I got
this is what I mean when I say that you just literally proved my point now that women don't have to make it through life and be competent whatsoever. You literally just embarrass yourself.
That's because men don't evaluate it.
You can't embarrass me.
No, you embarrass yourself.
Can we try like a different thing? Sports is just one of the characteristics here. I just try to be as objective as possible here. A yacht in Monaco. This is to say there's a $40 million yacht out there. Mm-hmm. And we're all partying in Monaco, whatever. The likelihood of me getting on the yacht versus the likelihood of a woman getting on the yacht. What's higher?
This guy's making sense.
That makes sense.
It's more likely a woman. Okay.
All of us is getting on the yacht before any of y'all get on the yacht.
And you realize that he's about to set you up for another L,
That's
right?
That's fine. Let's go. I'm ready.
The thing is, in order for me to get invited on the yacht, I have to do something exceptional.
Like making $500 million a year.
$500 million a year or whatever. Yeah. Or even have a yacht that pulls up next to your yacht and it's just as big and I join you. Or I have to have 50 girls with me versus one guy to get on the yacht.
Yeah.
Or I have to have business deals, maybe B2B business where I work with the guys who own the yacht. Do you see the accomplishments I need to make to get on the yacht versus the accomplishments you need to make to get on the yacht? Does that make sense?
I think I spelled accomplishments wrong, but yes.
Possibly.
I have a question. Wouldn't it be like men have it on easy mode because y'all are more naturally physically inclined, so women have to work against their nature?
But the problem is we have to compete against other men. No, right. I understand what you're saying. Like we're stronger, but we also have to compete against other men.
The average man has 0 bodies.
Yes. So, but which is even more proof. Those are the people left behind.
You're doing
surplus
good, bro.
men. But you understand?
Really
so
it all depends on what category we're talking about.
But it's the men who are sexless are proof that men competing with other men makes our arena more difficult. The sexual floor for a woman, there's a great book on this called Why Women Have Sex by David Buss and Sidney Messon. With the floor for a woman on average, even if she's very unattractive, is above 1. She can have sex. The girl at the trailer park who's obese will still have sexual partners. A guy who has nothing going for him, is below average in height, and makes, say, less than $39,000 a year, if he doesn't take drastic steps to improve his life, he will go the remainder of his life. Granted, he doesn't pay for a prostitute. He will have no sex. Yeah. And that's not, by the way, that's not conjecture. He will legitimately have no sexual encounters whatsoever.
Got you. Somehow that helped me understand everything you were saying.
But what you're...
He just literally proved that women live life on easy mode in another facet. But I did it through sports. He proved it through social hierarchies of being able
sports
to
was a really bad example. That was just a really bad example.
I was the one who brought it up.
It's the most clear-cut example.
It was just a bad analogy. I understand you now. He helped.
What you're speaking about the...
Okay, you know what? How about let's use you. You go on OnlyFans, right?
Yes,
You
I
have
do.
4 real estate properties that you probably bought from selling your butthole on the internet.
Oh my
Me, on the other hand, I have 14
Lord have
properties. I had to build up a
mercy.
platform. I had to be really entertaining, have a podcast, hit 1 million plus subscribers, etc. We pretty much got to somewhat the same area, but I had to be way more competent in my field to actually get to where I'm at right now. So please explain to me how that
I
doesn't
started
represent easy
OnlyFans
mode.
last year. I got my first 3 doors before I started OnlyFans.
And how'd you do that?
How'd you do that?
I did it the way you're supposed to do it. I did
Such
my
as?
research. I got investors. I traveled. I did
How'd
my,
you get those investors?
by going to meetings, networking, doing probably the same
And they
thing
gave
you
you
taught
money.
about.
No, they
I
gave you money?
actually watched one of your shows, and some of the advice you gave, I knew probably when I was like 19.
Oh, okay.
So you're saying all this stuff. I'm 30 now. I just started OnlyFans like when I was 28. So all the other stuff, I had some doors already. So
And
all
how'd you
that
get
other
the capital for those doors?
stuff, I got the capital from.
You said you had investors. How'd you get those investors?
Okay, so I grew up in Baltimore,
Mhm.
and I have a lot of family who does really good things, and we go to like different banquets and things like that. And when you're old enough, they'll say, "Hi, this is my daughter. She's into real estate. Aren't you an investor?" So little things like that. So maybe I am living life on
Easy
easy
mode.
mode,
Yeah.
and that's
Easy mode,
perfectly
yeah.
fine.
That's
But
fine. We're not
easy,
My point even-
easy
Look,
mode or not,
so-
I can still learn how to do
So
just as much as you guys
Are you guys
can do.
saying
about-
men don't
Competence
get
and
that
IQ or
Here's the thing,
not.
two things.
window?
Booty hole or
Hold on,
not,
two
and
things.
I'm gonna buy another house with this booty hole.
Privilege,
I'll give you an
hold on,
example, right?
privilege is invisible
Maybe
to
2
those that
houses
have
with
it.
a booty
What she
hole.
doesn't want to admit that she's a female. Investors went ahead and invested in her because she's a female.
I'll give
No,
you an
it
example.
wasn't because
Like,
I didn't even know. I
Hold on.
wasn't even sexy or nothing yet. I
I'll
was
give
like
you an example.
not even looking like this and none of
I
that.
spent 2 years
Mhm.
Goddamn.
I mean,
working
still.
overtime at my job.
I feel so bad that you had to do so much more work than me. I know what you're getting
It's
at.
fine. Just to make enough money to buy a property.
Mm-hmm.
I had an investor friend of mine that sent me around, same networking events that you went to probably,
Mm-hmm.
right? Met investors, realtors, people that own property. And they said, yeah, this is my friend Walter. He's very inclined to get real estate, blah, blah, blah. But I didn't get opportunities like you got. I had to work my ass off, and then I bought it, which is fine. But we're just saying easy mode is what you have. That's it.
Okay, but can I also say this? I've been working since I was 16, so not that money didn't just come out of thin air on my asshole. So y'all can say what y'all want, but y'all got stats, and I got stats, and I got receipts, and I got everything I need,
but
and everything.
We're not arguing that you don't work. We're just
No,
saying
I
easy
get
mode
that.
is what you have.
And that's
You would not have
fine.
been able to do certain things that you've been able to do if you were a male.
But
That's what
I
we're trying
also
to say.
but I also have male counterparts like brothers and cousins who got more doors than me, who's younger than me. So all that stuff you're
And they
saying,
had to work harder than you more than
But
likely.
can I-
to
but
get
no,
the
they
same
went to the
situation.
same banquets
Do
that
you
I went
guys
to.
think that if guys were given easy mode, that they would present themselves like strong, independent men, though?
That's
No,
not argument.
I don't think it's
So-
That's not what we're trying to say.
Can I
Hold on.
talk?
But let's take her argument. I appreciate being on that wall. I appreciate the fact that I get to serve my country.
Right.
I appreciate the fact that in a room full of people, I'm the first person someone's going to look to pull a child out of a burning car. I do not shy away from that responsibility and obligation. I don't think any of the men here are complaining about the fact that you're living on easy mode because we built a world where you get to live on easy mode. The point is like what Myron says, people who have privilege don't recognize their privilege. It's invisible to you when you have it. That's the only thing that we're trying to bring up.
But
Does that
what
make sense?
about-
We're not victims because we get to work. I love the fact that I get to work. I love the fact that my family is never going to have to worry about medical bills or where they're going to live for
Beautiful.
the
I love
rest of
that
their
for you.
lives
As you
because I
should.
bust my ass. I love that. So we're not shying away from that.
I love that.
But the point is, going back to what he said before, like the thing is, he's using the word easy mode, which I think might be a triggering word for you. It's easier, is what he's saying, and you have certain advantages that we don't have. We're not complaining. And for what she said, you're absolutely right. That's what makes us harder. But there's a certain group of men that are inundated with pornography.
Yeah.
They're inundated with video games.
Yeah.
They're inundated with these other things where now their life becomes on easy mode.
Yeah.
And then they just
Yeah.
lose all motivation and they become overweight and then they end up going
And
through
that's
their
who
time.
this.
But that was kind of like how you were
That's who
saying,
this
like Darwinism.
That's who this
basically what I'm asking.
$39,000 a year person is.
Yes.
Like, and that's the thing. That's the real epidemic here. Because if you're not going to have if you're not going to have men who are working really hard, who are raising up society, then why would women have to hold
Well, there are men
themselves to
who
a high
work very
standard?
hard who also make $39,000 a year.
I
Yeah, there
agree.
are some
I agree.
of those, it's not a function of men working hard.
I'm
I
just
think-
using that as example.
for sure.
That
was basically
putting
my
in work
question.
and getting something out of it, not necessarily just monetarily, but putting in effort and getting something out.
I think you guys have an issue with me using the term easy mode, and I'm not going to take my foot off the pedal with that. You guys do live life on easy mode because whatever endeavor you want to get into, whether it's sports, there's a female league for you, which is inferior to the male league. If you guys want to go ahead and get into the job market, there's affirmative action that will let you get into that job market, even though you might not be as qualified as a man. Whether we want to talk about dating or relationships, it's easy mode because you're able to go ahead and attract the opposite gender while bringing relatively nothing to the table. Women live life on easy mode in almost every single facet of human endeavor in 2023. And here's the thing. I'm not mad about it. I'm just acknowledging it. But if I acknowledge it, I'm considered an asshole, misogynist, blah, blah, blah. But the reality is we can't go on OnlyFans and make a bunch of money like a lot of you guys are with zero platform. Men have to be able to do something to provide some kind of value to be able to make money. Women, on the other hand, hold on. Women, on the other hand, can just monetize their sexuality fairly quickly if they're attractive enough. So what I'm saying is simply this. Women have more opportunities to do certain things that men will never get, and men must earn everything that they get. Women don't have to. They can choose to go ahead and earn if they want. Women want to become a doctor, become successful, she can. But she always has the ability to go ahead and find a rich man or get into sex work or whatever else that will make her money quick and easy.
Do you think that there's any guys living on easy mode, though?
Sure, yeah, they're born rich.
I live on easy mode right fucking now.
Good.
But it's going to take a lifetime of work. So what I would tell my son is the brutal reality of the world. Life is going to be really fucking hard, really fucking unfair, and you better start competing right now real fast because everything you want in this world, you're going to have to take it. You're going to have to fucking take it, G. And so my kids are going to have a ruthless disadvantage over everybody else's sons because in the world where I have sons, I'm raising my sons against the bullshit you said you're going to tell your sons. My sons are going to be ruthless and they're going to own your sons. And that's why single women, they raise these boys and it kind of sets them up. Because if there's not a strong father in the house, the son is at a disadvantage.
Yeah.
Right? It's going to be ugly. It's going to be brutal. It's not going to be okay. You will suffer like a motherfucker if you don't get to work. You better compete and compete early and compete often. Every day you wake up, you're in competition. It's ruthless out there. It is nature.
No, that's legit.
I'm so glad I'm not a man.
I'm glad you said that. Because with easy mode, you get, once you build yourself up to get yourself in easy mode, you get to take care of a family. You get to have a wife and kids. You get to do these things. I don't think those broke motherfuckers should get to have kids at all. I don't feel bad for them. Get mad or play ball.
I agree.
You think I feel sorry for some fucking dude that's beating his dick to porn tonight? Hell no. Because I'm gonna fuck his sister. So right?
I mean, that's gross.
But it's a brutal reality of the world.
Hey, yo,
I wanted to say something to what you said.
It's a brutal reality of life.
Because
it's really important, and that's why Myron and Walt do this show. What they're doing and what they've been doing for the past 2 hours, hour and a half, is pointing out the reality of the world. I don't think that makes you ladies bad people at all. Your experience is going to be a little different, and it's also going to tie into some primal things that you actually want, like having children, right?
Yeah.
Having children is a very hard job.
Yeah.
Mothers, I don't think we respect mothers enough in
Not
society.
easy mode.
No, it's one of the it's a very physically, mentally, emotionally hard job. It really, really is. I respect mothers. I really do. And I think that if we could champion mothers a little bit more, maybe a lot more women could find themselves in a place where they could be a mother.